Hey guys, in this video, I am going to go through how to build a successful reef tank using a canister filter. So I always use canister filter for several reasons that I'll talk about. But I'm going to go through all aspects of it. I'm going to go through everything that you'll need to know in order to build a successful reef tank with a canister filter. Now, using the canister filter, I've had success with pretty much all types of coral. I've had SPS Dominated tanks that have been supported with a canister filter, including Acropora. I've had Maxima Clams in there. I've had mixed reefs, LPS Dominated reefs, anemones of all kinds, including large carpet anemones. I've also had plenties of softies, leathers, and all that type of stuff. Pretty much anything that you can put in a reef tank, I've had in there with a canister filter. And canister filter does just fine. You can create a beautiful, full functioning, healthy reef tank with a canister filter and have anything and everything you want in there. So what's been playing in the background here is several tanks, pictures of several tanks and some video of tanks that I have supported with a canister filter. These are just some of the tanks I've had over the past few years. Again, I've been in this hobby a long time and I've used canister filter for a long time. But these are some pictures of some of my recent tanks, just so you can kind of see, what success I've had and the types of corals and stuff that I've had in those tanks being supported by a canister filter. All right, so let's just go ahead and jump right on into this. So several things I'm going to talk about in this video. We're going to go through why I use canister filter, proper canister filter sizing, filter setup, filter contents, cycling the filter, and filter maintenance. So why I use canister filter, 3 main reasons. I don't like the trickle noise that sumps make, ease of adding and removing media, and you get good flow through the media without a reactor. So let's move on to canister filter sizing. So when it comes to canister filter sizing, I recommend oversizing, never undersizing. And I want to add this important note here. True flow will be reduced once you actually put in media and absorbers. So if you look at here, Cascade, very popular filter, kind of gives the recommendations here. And again, expanded recommendations for flow and tank sizes. But again, I want to add that note that true flow will be reduced once mechanical and biofiltration is added, as well as absorbers. Giving you an example here. So Rena was absolutely my favorite brand of filter. They don't make it anymore. However, thank you to Rena for being transparent. So here's kind of the specs on the Rena filter. And as you can see, it is rated for a flow of 450 gallons per hour. This is with the filter empty. That's what it's going to put out, is 450 gallons per hour. They will transparently tell you, once you add in media, filter pads, things like that, that 450 gallons per hour is now 190 gallons per hour. Could be more, could be less, depending on what you put in there, but there is a drastic change and a drastic reduction to what the actual flow is going to be once you actually start stocking that filter with pads, biofiltration media, absorbers, as well as mechanical filtration. So looking at the filter setup here, I recommend using the port in, port out, the strainer, and I don't use any of the spray bars. So here's kind of the port in, port out, the strainer that I recommend using. And then again, I recommend using the nozzle, but not the spray bars. Here's a picture of, or a short video of my inlet on my tank, notice I have that nozzle on there. The nozzle is on the underside and it is pushing the water up towards the surface to help create that surface break. So again, continuing to look at setup, what I recommend having in there is pads, coarse and fine, ceramic biofiltration, and media absorbers. And we're going to have flow in the filter run through the coarse pad first, then through the fine pad, through ceramic filtration, and then we're going to go through those media absorbers before it returns back to the tank. So looking at the filter contents here, coarse pad 1 to 2, fine pad 1 to 2, ceramic biofiltration, ChemiPure Elite, Roaphos, Purigen, and carbon. The main purpose of the pads and the ceramic biomedia is to maintain bioload within the filter. And as you can see here, I always buy extra filters for my canister filter, and you can see I have those that I bought there, and it's coarse filters, medium filters, fine filters. So I bought a 4-piece set with some extra gradation to the filters from coarse to fine. I also buy this ceramic media. I like this shape with the hole in the middle just to maximize my surface contact of water flow. And of course, just kind of adding a note here around the ceramic media that it's a very porous area to hold that bacterial bioload. So the ChemiPure Elite, Purigen, and Roaphos, and carbon, the main purpose here is to absorb waste, nitrite, nitrate, phosphate, and ammonia. So if we're looking at the ChemiPure Elite, one of its big advantages is that it removes phosphates, silicates, odors, color-causing organics, and things like that. As far as Purigen, it controls ammonia, nitrites, and nitrates. Looking here at Roaphos, it removes phosphates and silicates. And then lastly, carbon, looking at carbon, it removes odor, discoloration, and impurities. Now, I want to add a note, do not go heavy on the carbon. A little bit goes a long way. Please don't stock it heavy. All right, so how do we cycle this filter and get it ready to support life in the aquarium? I use 2 products. The first is Microblift Special Blend. It's a complete ecosystem in a bottle, and it does nitrate removal. The second is Microblift Night Out 2. It's nitrifying bacteria and controls ammonia and nitrate. And then the note from the manufacturer that together, Special Blend and Night Out 2 can cycle an aquarium in as little as 24 hours. So what I recommend is on day 1, when you're assembling the filter, dump half the bottle of Special Blend directly into the canister filter. During the first 30 days, add Special Blend and Night Out 2 per schedule to the water column. I'm going to note on day 28, when you do your first filter clean, that you're going to dose Special Blend again directly to the filter. So let's talk about filter maintenance, frequency, and what we're going to do. I recommend filter maintenance every 4 weeks. That means it's going to be 13 times a year, not once a month. All right, so let's get into the details of what this cleaning maintenance is going to look like. So obviously filter pads. I go with a 6-month life on each pad. So if you have 2 pads in there, you're going to change one every 3 months. That way they end up with a 6-month life before they come out. Do not change both pads at the same time. You will kill bioload and crash your tank. Please don't do that. If you have 3 pads, you're going to change every 2 months. If you have 4 pads, you'll change months 1, 3, 4, and 6. Adding a note here that when you do change out the pads, don't throw them away. Rinse them with tank water, dry them, and you will reuse them the next time you put pads into your tank. Looking at the ceramic biomedia, this as well has a 6-month life on it. Again, longer life because it is holding bioload. I change half the amount in there every 3 months. And I do not put it in a bag. I just run it loose in the basket of my canister filter. But again, half every 3 months. When it comes to ChemiPure Elite, every 3 months, throw it away. Purigen, every 2 to 3 months. I usually run closer to 2, depending on what it looks like. And I change Roa faucet at the same time. And Carbon every month. On the ceramic media, I didn't note, we do not clean and reuse that. We throw that away when we change it as well. All right, so hopefully you like this video. Give me a like, give me a subscribe, check out some more of my content, and I'll get more out soon. Hope this helps. Thanks, guys.